Patrick, how you doing, man? Good to see you again.
Yeah, you too. How are things?
Real good, man. I mean, you guys got a couple things going on. We should probably talk about you, but I'm doing all right. Thanks for asking. Man, how
Yeah.
excited are you about all this stuff that's going on right now? You got the new album, the big tour, and I mean everything else coming up. But it's I saw so many people saying they're like, oh, it's Fall Out Boy's comeback, but it's not like you guys went away anywhere. It's you were part of the Hella Mega tour and you did a
Yeah.
ton of stuff. It's not like you went anywhere. You've been all over doing everything.
Yeah, it's really weird. I was really surprised by that. I've been really surprised by that narrative, I guess. People are like, "Oh yeah, Fall Out Boy's back," and I'm like, just like you said, I'm like, I didn't think we went anywhere. I've been very busy. We've been very, very busy. Yeah, but it's amazing. It's crazy to be. You know, I I really love this record a lot. Just earnestly, like I'm really pleased with it. It's probably, you know, it's in the running for my favorite album of ours. So to um, for it to for the for us to put out Love from the Other Side and have it be received so well is like it means a lot.
Absolutely. Well, let's get to the record in a second, Patrick. I want to go back a couple years to Hella Megator, if you don't mind,
Mhm.
to where we
Mhm.
start
Yeah.
there. To where your comeback, I guess, began. I don't know. I don't even know if that's right to say, but 2001, the world had shut down for a while. You're going out with Weezer, with Green Day, with the Interrupters. Did you guys feel this immense pressure of we're the first big tour trying to get things going again? I mean, that had to weigh on you guys every night.
Well, it was weird because it was, the tour was supposed to happen before COVID, obviously, and then COVID hit, and I mean, we pushed it back for what, 2 years, something like that. And so there was very much this kind of uncertainty that it was ever going to happen. It was this thing that was kind of floating out there. That's another thing when we talk about the comeback and going away and stuff. It's like, well, I mean, you couldn't do anything. No one could do anything. We were kind of all stuck inside. So we were kind of waiting on the tour, and it kind of became this thing that felt like this imaginary thing because we did the tour announcement show in Los Angeles, like a little club show with Green Day and Weezer. Um, and it was like, wow, we're really doing this. And then nothing,
Done.
Um, yeah. And so it was like this, it was almost like this surreal imaginary thing, especially for us, because I mean, Weezer and Green Day are bands we grew up with that, like I was obsessed with, so to go on tour with them in the first place is really surreal and really amazing. So then to have it be this thing that like, well, maybe you're going to go on tour. On paper, you're going on tour with them sometime. And so then, we waited around forever and then finally going out on that tour. Yeah, like you said, we were really early on in the kind of, world coming back. So we were one of the only tours that went out that year. And So that was weird. It was weird because I think everybody was kind of adjusting to it, and it was funny, city by city. Some cities were really cautious about COVID and stuff, and some cities you'd be in and they'd be like, yeah, whatever. And so it was very strange. It was a very strange aspect of the tour because it was already an amazing, surreal tour to be on. But then, yeah, the fact that it was COVID, also, you're like, I don't know. Sometimes I kind of pinch myself and I'm like, I have a very weird job, don't I? like
Every day I think about that. It's like talking to you today, I could be making
yeah.
commercials tomorrow, whatever it is. We have some very weird jobs, but I wouldn't trade it for the world.
Oh yeah, no, that's not a complaint. I'm saying it's just sometimes you have to like stop and appreciate how awesome it is and how weird it is. It's very weird. Like,
I also, Patrick, because of Hella Mega, you guys got to form a pretty good bond with Green Day and Weezer. And I love the fact that in the video for Heartbreak Feels So Good, you had Rivers Cuomo say, F those guys. That was tremendous. That needs to be on the Fall Out Boy video intro when you guys go on tour now. It was so good. You'd never expect that from Rivers.
Yeah, no, it was really fun. He was really funny. My other favorite is the bit where they say, where he says, where Pete says, "Well, you're the guy that wrote Africa. And he's like, yeah, that's true. Like the way Rivers just kind of like, yeah, like he's, I don't know, he's a very funny guy. And it's amazing to, yeah, to get to know those guys. Like I said, those are very influential bands for me. So, you know, to be right in the middle there on that bill was so surreal. And then, you know, you kind of, and yeah, you just see him backstage and talk to him and hang out with him, you know, get dinner a couple times, whatever. It's like, it's, it's, it's a big, it's a big thing. It's really amazing. You know, it's hard to put into words.
Again, is this my life? Is this my job? Yes, it is.
Yeah.
And it's awesome. Well, now,
Yeah.
Patrick, you guys get to be the headlining band this summer, and you know, going out on tour. Gonna have the new record, So Much for Stardust, and you guys get to kick things off at Wrigley. So between now and then, what do we have? 4 months now? Not even. Like, you guys got to be feeling that anxiety, that pressure of the album, the tour, all of it, but in a very good way.
There's almost no time to feel anxious or anything, because we're just moving. There's just so many things. Every week I go somewhere, you know, every week the band's flying somewhere for something, you know. So it's like there's so many little things and so many moving parts now. And it's also been weird because, you know, we all four of us have other things we do now as well. So like there's no downtime, you know. So like, you know, every time we're not on stage for a thing, you know, we went and did the NHL All-Star game, or we went and did this thing for the Beach Boys, whatever. Like anytime we're not doing that, we're all doing our separate. Like I have a day job. I score a children's show. I
You
write
got
all
a
the music
lot
for a
of day
children's show.
jobs, actually.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, I do. I have more than I need. It's kind of overwhelming. So, you know, I have to keep up with that, and so it's like it's um it's amazing to bounce back and forth, because like you know, like I said, I'm scoring, and when you're scoring, you're writing music in a studio by yourself. You know, it's very not glamorous. It's very not you know, it's very not rock and roll. And then I get plucked out of my studio and put on a stage with fire and explosions and stuff, and it feels very sudden and dramatic, you know.
And through all that too, Patrick, you have to be ready as the frontman of Fall Out Boy. You got to be ready to sing for 90 minutes every night. Like, get your cardio back up, get working out,
Yeah.
get into shape again. You know, you got all that stuff to worry about.
Yes, I do, and I don't know if I'm worrying enough about my cardio. I probably should.
You'll get that. You know what? That first couple nights out there, you'll be sweaty, but you'll be fine. You'll be all good.
Yeah,
Um,
exactly. Yeah.
I saw with the new album, with So Much for Stardust, it's coming out. We got less than a month to go now, March 24th. That's going to be out. You said that you guys did this old school traditional, not using computers, where it could be like, oh, you know what? I screwed up a chord here. Let's just fix that real quick. So are you talking tape? You went back like original methods and did it live in the room together?
Not so much tape or anything. It's more, and frankly, I didn't mean like not editing, though we didn't really do a lot of that. But we didn't really do a lot of that on Mania, for example. I meant more that like Mania, we would go in and, you know, I would take my voice, right? I would take a recording of my voice and just, you know, make it into crazy stuff. I would just like bend it and, you know, and affect it till it was not my voice anymore. You know, it wasn't like, oh, you know, I was a little flat there, let's fix that. It was more like, you know, I was really actively trying to bend sounds into completely different sounds. And that was fun, but we did that, you know. I was pretty satisfied with that experiment. And so this record I wanted to do, I was like, you know, what do I want to do? What do I miss? And I was like, I miss, what's inspiring me? And I was like, I felt like when we did records like Infinity on High or Folie à Deux, we had these. It was almost like your eyes are too big for your stomach, where we had all these big ideas, you know, but we would go into the studio and we didn't really know what we were doing. We were still very green in terms of how to translate those ideas. Now, all four of us have had so many experiences as, you know, in entertainment, in art, whatever, that like we kind of know what we're doing and what we're talking about. And I was like, man, if I could go back to that place, to that kind of studio, to that kind of, to working with Neil Avron and those bringing these new experiences, what would that be like? Now I compose for orchestras. What would that be like? Now Andy's played in 1,000 hardcore bands. What would that be like? That kind of stuff, like just bringing all of these new influences and new experiences into a studio and kind of letting that sit instead of having like a specific sound I was going for. I just wanted to see what we all do now.
It's pretty cool to have that knowledge and to be able to go and, help your old self out now to be the new Fall Out Boy, I guess. It's
Yeah,
a
exactly.
weird way to get there, but I understand what you're saying. I want to remind everyone that's watching right now, Fall Out Boy, you guys are kicking off the tour in June at Wrigley. Definitely need to talk about that in a second. But you guys know where to get tickets. Go on Ticketmaster. You know what to do. Go see Fall Out Boy this summer. How great is it, Patrick? You get to start it out, the hometown show, and not just, any arena. You're playing at Wrigley freaking Field. That's fantastic, dude.
Yeah, it's again so surreal. I mean, it's weird too, for people that hadn't been there. Not all of the ballparks are in the middle of the city. That's kind of a special thing. There's a few of them that are like that, but like Fenway, and there's one in California somewhere it's like that. But Wrigley, there's a history there, and it's been there for so long. I think it predates the Cubs. Done that. I think it used to be. Did the Bears play there? It's like a very, very old thing, and it's a Chicago institution. It's more than just like to be entirely frank, I'm not a huge sports guy, right?
Keep that between us.
That was never my. Yeah. No one has to know that. But even it's one of those things. Even I get nostalgic for and like kind of misty eyed for Wrigley Field and that kind, like we would when I was a little kid, you go and you'd sit and and eat hot dogs and eat Chicago dogs and that kind of thing, and it was it just has a history to it that to get to play there is it's I keep saying surreal, but it is surreal. I mean, the whole thing doesn't.
It is.
Yeah, it really is. I mean,
and you should get to enjoy all that, man. I mean, that's awesome. You get to be the ringleader of this crazy circus known as Fall Out Boy and bring people along for the party. And you're going to be playing where second base is or wherever they're going to have the stage set up.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I'm saying. Like it's weird to be like, okay, we're going to play this show, and this is where Ryan Sandberg was,
yes.
And Harry Carey. That it's like,
this is where
Sandberg was a fly ball to second base. It's like it's just crazy,
Oh man, well, and Wrigley's just the start of it. You guys are going, I mean, literally everywhere. You're going to do America. You got Summer Sonic in Japan. You're going to do Europe all through. So is that daunting? You look ahead and you're like, holy crap, I got the rest of my year already booked out. Like I'm going to be in a hotel and a bag every day.
No, because I have really severe ADHD. So I almost forget that I am the same person in the future. You know what I mean? Like I look at the calendar, I'm like, oh, that's future Patrick will deal with that. Today Patrick is going to, whatever.
Today you got to work on Spider-Man. Tomorrow you got to do
exactly.
That's pretty cool.
Exactly.
You know what? Can I ask you some of the stuff about scoring, Patrick? Because I think that's so fascinating.
Yeah, of course.
Anytime I see pictures or any video clips, is that studio at your house or where is that studio that you got?
I kind of don't have a studio right now. I'm kind of in between studios. And now the band's traveling so much. So I have a bunch of gear, and periodically I'll get to set it up somewhere, but I don't really have a solid place that I work. Half the time now I'm working at a desk in a hotel. I've kind of had to learn how to be really really mobile, which is weird. It's weird because I bring this little keyboard. It's really funny if you ever see it. It's tiny. It's like nothing. I bring this little keyboard to fit in my carry-on bag, and I'm writing all this stuff, and then I'm going to send this to an orchestra. It's wild.
That's so crazy because like back 2020, March of 2020, I was just handed a box and said, here's your radio station, take it home and start doing your shows from there. Oh, okay. I figure, and now I can do it on this laptop, this iPad, and one little box and a microphone, and I can go and do a show anywhere. So you know, it's crazy the technology lets you do that.
Where's the craziest place you've taken it?
I mean, nowhere really. Like we've gone out to breweries, and I've, you know, when I go on vacation, I'll take it just in case I need to do a commercial or a flight gets stuck or something.
Yeah.
So I'm always prepared, and it's as big as a backpack, and that's it. That's all you need for a radio station now. It's crazy.
It is crazy. Well, it's one of those things where I think recording, it's a little bit different because obviously eventually you have to get to some, you know, eventually I have to, like, so I'm writing out, you know, string and brass and wind parts, and eventually for most projects I'm going to take it to actual players, so I got to go to a real studio and hire an orchestra and whatever. But in the interim, when I'm just writing it, you know, I'm playing my woodwind, you know, my bassoon part on a little keyboard that's like that big, you know. And
So great.
yeah, it's pretty wild.
That's incredible. Patrick, how did you get asked to do the Incredible Hulk roller coaster a couple years ago? Now,
oh yeah,
I know you've done TV shows, you've done movies, but a roller coaster, I never knew anyone to score a roller coaster. That's awesome.
Yeah, well, they came to me and, you know, they were like, yeah, we're looking for someone to do music for it. And I was like, awesome. I think one of the things is that because it's Universal and they don't really have like there's not like a Hulk movie, there's a few Hulk movies. So they're like, we want to do something different with the ride because it straddles a few different eras of Hulk, you know. So we want to we want something different, you know. And I was like, can I do orchestra? And they were like, sure, whatever, you know. They kind of just went with it. And I was like, so I wrote all this music kind of imagining like if I got to do a Hulk movie, what would I do? And so it was awesome. That was actually my first that was the first time I did, you know, like I contracted like a 70-piece orchestra or something like that. That was my first experience with that. So when I listen to it now, I'm like, oh, there's things I'd change, but it's still pretty neat that I got to do that.
Do they give you a pass that lets you cut that line on the roller coaster forever? They should have.
Yes, they probably would, but
that's mine.
you know, the crazy thing is they probably would. They've invited me to go. I don't like roller coasters. I'm terrified of heights. So when I scored the whole thing to a video. There's you know, I got a video from the front of the ride, and I watched that, and so I'm writing the music. But even that, I'm like, you know, as I'm watching it, you know.
All right, so no sports, no roller coasters, but you do a great job with music for them. So that's all that matters.
Yeah, I mean, that's all I need. I'm a kind of one note guy. My one note is lots of notes.
A lot of notes for that one note. Patrick, last thing, I got to let you go here. I know we talked the last time we talked about The Legend of Zelda. I'm sure you're excited for May for the new game to come out. Would you ever want to work with Nintendo to do a Zelda score? Do you think you'd be up for a video game?
My God, I would kill. That would be an absolute dream. That's because Breath of the Wild is probably my favorite game that they've made. But one thing I really, really miss about it is it's very quiet musically. There's music, but it's not like Zelda has some of the most legendary scores. You know, I think about, you know, Ocarina of Time, and it's like I mean, some of the music in that thing is just tremendous. So if I got a chance to do something like that, I would kill to do that. That would be an absolute dream. You know.
All right, anyone in Nintendo? Patrick Stump from Fallout Boy. Get him to do a dungeon at least for a Zelda game, because that would be awesome.
Yeah.
We have the new album coming out in a couple weeks. So much for Stardust. We got the tour starting this summer and going everywhere. Everyone get your tickets at Ticketmaster. Dude, this was a lot of fun. I can't wait to see you this summer, my man.
Yeah, it'll be a lot of fun. Yeah, see you there.